Good morning and welcome to Day 2 of the Baseball Canada 16U Girls Invitational. I'm Scott Squires, joined once again this morning by Chris Head, a member of the Dartmouth Moosehead Dry Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League team. This is Newfoundland and New Brunswick. New Brunswick, the visitors. They will bat first. They're going to be facing the Newfoundland and Labrador right-hander Brooklyn Childs. And it's Avery Dolan starting off. And I think she thought she struck out, but she got a piece. So Avery is the extra hitter in today's game. Extra hitter is a new wrinkle where you can have 10 batters in your lineup, one of them being the extra hitter instead of the DH. And that one foul down the third base side. After Dolan, it'll be Lydia Pearson and Anissa Smith. As again, we are underway. Day 2, a beautiful start to the day here. Gorgeous weather in the Bedford area. And as we roll along here, Chris, after this batter, we'll get an update on how the Moosehead Dry did last night.
Absolutely.
With only the one loss on the season. I know you had a home game last night versus Halifax. So after this batter, we'll get an update. And Dolan hangs in there. Good at bat here for Avery. I like the high socks look, too, on Avery. I'm a high sock guy.
You're a high sock. I went high socks last couple of years. This year I have not because it's just a lot more work. I tear socks quite easily when sliding and stuff, so I was going to buy a new pair of socks. But, yeah, I like the high sock look.
Well, see, that's being practical.
Maintenance.
No, we had this discussion, actually, at the 17U Canada Cup a couple weeks ago in Moncton, because we were seeing play, and if you look around the field now, you're even seeing a mix of the kind of the straight leg pant look and the high sock look. This one,
that looks fine.
And that is going to find the hole in the shallow grass in the outfield just behind short. So a good at bat, and Dolan hangs in, and she ends up getting a base hit. So the 25-1. 26-1 after last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, so you won. What was the score over Halifax?
9-4.
9-4. And I know we talked yesterday. You got a bit of an injury on the right leg.
Yep.
So were you a regular last night, or were you strictly a pro hitter?
I was just a DH last night, and that's the first time I've ever done that. And I think it's the first time I've never started in center field for the Dry since I had come up. So it was a little different look, being on the bench the whole night and just taking at bats.
This is Lydia Pearson, the right fielder for New Brunswick. So how did you do as a DH for the first time ever?
I had 2 infield singles that were quite greasy. One hit the third base, and I was just jogging. So one of those things where I watched it hit the base, and then I watched the third baseman, Josh Pelham, just kind of couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe it either. But I did get into one, hit one off the fence, which is good.
So not a bad debut as a
DH.
DH, as we see Lydia Pearson pop out to the third baseman, Bethany Brophy. So 1 out, 1 on for the number 3 hitter, the third baseman, Anissa Smith. What a beautiful day here, Chris.
Oh, yes. Great day for baseball.
It is a great day for baseball. What was the old saying? Let's play 2. Well, actually, today we're going to play way more than 2. We've got 4 games for you here today from the Robert Lenahan Field. All live streamed, courtesy of Bell Alliant TV1. We certainly thank Bell Alliant for providing the technical support and the live stream link with the landing page. It would be very difficult to do an event like this without the support and help of Bell Alliant. That is for sure.
Moving up on a pass ball.
So Childs working here to the batter Smith. Newfoundland and Labrador, New Brunswick. Game 1 on day 2, and that one foul back, and Anissa Smith on that pitch, but just a little under. Newfoundland outfield, left to right, Vokey, Gear, and Patey Callahan. And the infield, first to third, Turner, Legg, Healy, and Brophy. And Companion is the catcher for the pitcher, Childs. And that pitch from Childs outside. The dimensions here at Robert Lenahan Field, the larger of the 2 fields. In the Lenahan Fields here in Bedford, it's about 250 down the line. I say about because you eyeballed it yesterday because there's actually no distance sign as we see Smith go down swinging. So about 250 down the left field line, 268 to the right, and dead center, 336.
Wow.
So Smith goes down swinging, a strikeout for Childs. And Cassidy Waugh, the center fielder, steps in now. She'll bat with Dolan down on second and 2 away. Strike one as Childs, after that opening single, has got herself into a nice little groove here. Bright sunshiny start to the day. Just past 9 a.m. Atlantic time here in Bedford, Nova Scotia. And I'm hoping that the meteorologists at the Weather Network are feeling a little more confident about their forecast for the next few days than it was yesterday. We actually ended up getting some rain. Didn't delay anything, but from nowhere,
just a little sprinkle.
Got rained on. Hey, it's the Atlantic region, right?
That's right. Can't predict everything.
I think that would be my line if I were a meteorologist. I'd give the weather and I'd say, hey, and if you don't like it, just wait a minute because it's probably going to change.
During the baseball season, I'm constantly checking the weather.
And a base on balls issued to Waugh. Even if the forecast, when I look at my Weather Network app, says sunny and whatever.
I look for a new one. I just check it until I get the answer I want.
The other thing I like to do now, a lot, especially covering these outdoor tournaments, is I check the radar. And I get the 2-hour window to see where the radar, and that's what I did last night when it started to rain. I'm like, Weather Network says sun, radar says
Yeah.
So
Allie Stymist will come to bat now. Stymist, the number 5 hitter in this lineup. She's catching. She did a great job behind the plate catching yesterday.
She did.
I told her afterwards, I said, great game, Allie. I said, you're a catcher that looks like a catcher. I'm just not sure that she knew what I meant.
Yeah,
but hopefully your parents explained it.
Yes. Somebody should explain it to her. But she is a catcher.
Like even after the game when we saw her packing her gear and getting ready to hit.
Catcher.
Yeah, absolutely a catcher. No doubt about it. And the catcher digs in from the left side, getting ready to take this next pitch from Childs, which is high and outside.
Oh. No man's land and...
Hung out to dry. Oh, a little too far was Cassidy Waugh. And good heads-up play by the catcher companion to kind of keep her head, survey what was going on down at second, saw the chance to go to first, and Waugh is tagged out, so Stymist left at the plate. She'll lead off the next inning. So, after a half inning, New Brunswick, no score. Newfoundland and Labrador coming to bat. Bottom of the first inning, Newfoundland and Labrador. We'll have Joelle Vokey leading off. Brooklyn Childs will be second. Andrea Turner due up third, and if any of those batters reach, it will be Chantal Patey-Callahan. They'll face the lefty Hallie Rogerson, and I did a tournament, a U14 tournament last year, I believe it was, maybe the year before, but I saw Hallie pitch for the New Brunswick squad in that tournament, and she was just an excellent pitcher. A lefty, she can move it inside, outside, she can change speeds. From what I remember seeing of her, she had very good command of her pitches, so
very important.
Now that I've said that, I'll probably give her the broadcaster's curse, but no, she was really good. As soon as I saw her name on the New Brunswick roster, I remembered her right away. She certainly made an impression the first time I saw her. So if she's on her game, my guess is Newfoundland and Labrador hitters will be guessing for much of the time that Rogerson is on the mound. Goes outside with that pitch. Vokey is the left fielder for Newfoundland and Labrador today. She's from the capital city of St. John's. 15 years old. And swing and a miss. Well, perhaps I didn't curse Hallie after all. At least not on the first batter.
That's right. Throwing strikes, nice to see.
So, pitcher versus pitcher here. Brooklyn Childs will step in. Lefty on lefty here.
Ooh, she's right on top of the plate.
She is indeed. She's dug right in there. The inside line of that batter's box has all but disappeared. First pitch from Rogerson. She goes high. The New Brunswick defense, right to left in the outfield, Pearson, Waugh, and Foubert. And the infield, first to third, Harvey, Kilpatrick, Ashton, and Smith. Stymist is your catcher, and of course, Hallie Rogerson on the mound. Typically, the left-hander will have pretty good success against left-handed batters. Usually, you'll see left-handed batters with a lower average versus a left-handed pitcher. And the strange thing is, at least at the major league level, you typically don't see that translate to the right side.
I was just thinking that.
Right-handed batters.
I'm a right-handed hitter, and I face right-handed pitchers, but like I see that as a right-handed hitter facing a lefty, you see the ball longer. So generally, you see a lot of left-handed hitters that are good hitters against righties, like over the top, because they're constantly at an advantage for their off-speed stuff, right? The off-speed's coming in, not away.
Yeah, I've always found that kind of an interesting anomaly in baseball.
And it's just because there's not a lot of left-handed pitchers, if you think about it.
That is a good point. Although, the interesting thing that we talked about when we were doing the 17U Baseball Canada a couple weeks ago was the high number of left-handed pitching in that tournament and left-handed hitting. And it was very interesting to kind of notice because once upon a time, I know when I played Little League Baseball, as to your point, and even at the major league level, it kind of is the same, but it was a rarity to see a lefty, and it would throw you off sometimes.
I use our league as a prime example. I think every team has maybe one lefty. Halifax has two. Sydney has none. Kentville has one. Truro has one. So that's 7 lefties in the whole league.
In the whole league, in the whole Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League. Yeah, but again, I didn't do a count, but every game that we did, and we did a lot over the course of that tournament at the 17U in Moncton, just a number of lefties. And this ball struck well by Turner and over the head of Ashton out there at short. That's second. Childs coming in to third. And Andrea Turner on second base. So Turner, the first baseman, gets a good swing on that Rogerson pitch. And Newfoundland and Labrador, with one out, have got a couple of runners on. So Childs at third, Turner at second, and now it is the right fielder, Chantal Patey-Callahan. Another lefty-on-lefty matchup here. Patey-Callahan from out toward the west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, from Corner Brook, home of Marble Mountain, one of the most beautiful ski resorts, not only in Atlantic Canada, but in all of Canada. And have you ever been out to Newfoundland, out around the Corner Brook region?
St. John is the only place I've been to in Newfoundland. St. John's?
St. John's,
St.
indeed.
John's, yeah.
But I'll tell you, out toward the west coast, through the Codroy Valley, out through Corner Brook, absolutely stunning scenery through there. I've been through it many times driving, and it never gets old. It's just gorgeous.
My wife has family in Goose Bay.
Oh, up in Labrador.
Up in Labrador.
I think there's a Canadian Forces base in Goose Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
There's not much there, according to them. A lot of snow.
A lot of snow. It would be a little chilly up in Goose Bay. Lots of snow in Corner Brook as well in the wintertime, thus the success of Marble Mountain. Patey Callahan awaits the pitch, steps in as the left-hander Rogerson.
Certainly not a favorable baseball climate.
I wouldn't think so. I'm not sure that I see anybody on this Newfoundland and Labrador squad from Goose Bay as I do a quick look down the lineup. Most of them from the main island of Newfoundland. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Newfoundland with a couple of runners in scoring position here, and stepping back and taking the big hat was Patey Callahan, and just got a piece. Newfoundland and Labrador. Of course, Newfoundland actually is an island, so when you hear people refer to the island of Newfoundland, that is technically, well, not technically, it is correct,
It
but
is an island.
the province itself is not an island as a whole because Labrador obviously landlocked and joined to Quebec. I got myself in trouble in grade 3 one time. I'll tell you that story in a minute. Rogerson settles in with the left-handed delivery, and again, going inside. I'm not sure if that's intentional, if she feels that not only Patey Callahan, but a couple of these left-handed Newfoundland batters might be crowding the plate a little too much.
She's on top of the plate, too. I mean, that pitch is not super inside, but since they're on top of the plate, it looks a lot worse than what it actually is.
So a big pitch here for Rogerson, full count. 2 runners on, 1 out for Newfoundland and Labrador. And that's hit solidly down to first base, but it's scooped up there. They'll come home. Stymist was there. Harvey did a good job to get to it as quickly as she could, step on the bag to retire. Patey Callahan came home with it. Stymist did a good job to receive the ball and try to make the tag, but Childs was in ahead of it, and Brooklyn Childs scores the first run of the game, and Newfoundland and Labrador take the 1-0 lead.
The shortstop, number 16, Maddie Healy.
So the ground out from Patey Callahan scores Childs from first. Turner moves down to third, and the shortstop, Maddie Healy, steps in. And that is hit, and that's going to be just foul. If that had stayed on the right side of the foul line, that certainly would have scored a run and could have even possibly been extra bases.
Yep, looked like a double.
Maddie Healy taps the cleats. Gets ready to dig back in. I'll tell you my getting in trouble story with Newfoundland as an island between innings. Stay tuned for that, my friends. Scarred me still to this day, but I stood my ground as an 8-year-old.
Let me guess, you made the argument that because it doesn't have island in the name, it's not an island?
No, hang on. I'll get to it. Quite the opposite, actually. Healy. She's had a couple of good hacks here at Rogerson in this first inning. Newfoundland and Labrador has a run in, and Turner down at third base. Healy hoping to cash her in. Due up next for Newfoundland and Labrador, if Healy reaches, it'll be the extra hitter, Mackenzie Byrne. Oh, such a great day for baseball. What a difference it makes when it's clear and sunny. And reaching for it. That pitch was probably about a foot outside, and Healy just kind of leaned in and said, oh, I'm just going to foul this off. Methinks that Maddie Healy likes to swing the bat, at least based on reaching for that one. She's batting in the 5-hole here for Newfoundland and Labrador. And chops that one. Slow roller. It is going to be a tough play. Smith gets it across. Anissa Smith. Strong arm. And a throw to first retires Healy. So a great defensive play. Not so much the ball itself as it was a slow roller, but the time was running out to get Healy as she charged down the line. But Smith makes the play, and Healy is retired. So 1 run for Newfoundland and Labrador. And after one complete, Newfoundland and Labrador leads 1-0.
On 1 hit, there were no errors. 1 runner left on base.
So I'll quickly tell you my story. My family moved to Nova Scotia in the summer of '76. I was just a young lad getting ready to start grade 3. So probably about a month or 2 into school in Halifax, our teacher was giving us a geography test. And she said, I'm going to ask a series of questions. First hand up, gets the answer, gets it right, you get a point, whatever.
Yeah.
So she said, it was a geography lesson about Canada. She said, name Canada's island province. Well, I threw my hand up. Scott, Newfoundland. Nope, next. And I said, no. I said, I'm right. She said, no. She said, Newfoundland is not an island. I said, yes, it is.
Based on definition.
So she had this is back in the old days before electronics and, projectors with laptops.
Map of Canada.
So it was the paper map. She rolls it down. She passes me the pointer. She goes, come up and show me how Newfoundland is an island. Now, she didn't specify Labrador.
Right.
So I took the pointer and I started at St. John's because that was my hometown. And I traced it all up along, right up on the northern tip, right up around St. Anthony, back down around, all the way around. And I go, it doesn't connect to the rest of Canada. It's an island.
Correct.
She just told me to sit down. And that was it. I went home and I told my mom, and she said, she goes, I don't like you arguing with the teacher. She said, but you are right.
You are right.
Leading off the top of the second for New Brunswick.
Moms will always stick up for their kids anyway.
Number 17, Allie Steinmetz.
So New Brunswick will bat here now in the top of the second against the island of Newfoundland and the landlocked province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Brooklyn Childs on the mound, now has a 1-0 lead for Newfoundland as she opens up the catcher Steinmetz with ball 1. Allie Steinmetz, the number 5 hitter for New Brunswick. She'll be followed by Hannah Harvey and Abby Ashton. Both teams going with the extra hitter in their lineup, so they will bat 10 through the lineup. And if either of the first 3 reach, it would be the number 8 hitter, Hallie Rogerson, who would come up 4th in the inning. Steinmetz active in that batter's box.
I was just thinking that. That is a lot of movement.
Yeah, she's in there. She is the opposite of calm water in that batter's box. It's kind of rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
You may see it again there, just bouncing.
Garcia Parra.
Yeah, very active in there. And Steinmetz shrugs that off, and she'll jog down to first. The more I watch this number 17 in black play, the more I like her style.
Yeah.
She's a ball player, no doubt about it. So Steinmetz lead off, hit by pitch.
20, Hannah Harvey.
So that'll bring Hannah Harvey. Harvey pitched a pretty good game for New Brunswick yesterday. Hannah is from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
A Royal.
Fredericton Royals.
Nova Scotia lost yesterday at the Senior Nationals, 2-1.
Wow, that's a close game.
Yep. And
And that pitch sent foul by Hannah Harvey.
I believe Moncton beat the host team 15-1.
15-1. The Fisher Cats.
3 guys had 2 home runs, I think.
Wow, that is a day.
Dave Barr being one of them.
Well, I know the Fisher Cats certainly the last number of years definitely have been one of the better teams in the New Brunswick Senior Baseball League. They are at Nationals by way of winning the Senior League Championship last year. Kind of interesting how that works. The current year Nationals is the league champion from the year before.
Right. I think it's, personally, I love it from a fundraising standpoint, and you have basically 1 calendar year to get yourself prepared to go.
Yeah, it's a really good point, actually.
I mean? Like, it's unfortunately, like being in a small province like Nova Scotia.
And
good job.
Steinmetz in there, no problem at all. So stolen base for Allie.
Yeah, being a small province like Nova Scotia, we don't have a lot of funds to do that as a from Baseball Nova Scotia standpoint, but it's nice to have one full year to do it as a team. And it's also team bonding too, if you think about it. Like, you're all working together to get one goal is to get there, and then once you're there, it's to win, right?
Sydney Sooners won the league championship last year. They're out representing Nova Scotia, as you said, had that tough, tight 2-1 loss.
Yep. Our pitcher, Justin Davies, actually pitched yesterday. I think he's had 4 hits, 9 Ks, complete game.
That goes to the backstop. That's going to allow Stymus to head down to third. So New Brunswick has Stymus just one base away from tying up this game. A pitch foul back. Hannah Harvey hanging in this at-bat against the Newfoundland and Labrador pitcher Childs. And that's sky high, but it's going to be out of play. So the leadoff batter in this inning, Stymus, was hit by a pitch, stole second, and then the pitch that went to the backstop, she made it to third, and now Harvey takes a base on balls. So there's a look at Hannah hanging out there, looking kind of lonely. Now the coach will come over and talk to her. I thought she was a little lonely there for a minute on first. Umpire, little housekeeping, cleans off the plate. So the Newfoundland and Labrador coach, I think, out talking about, I'm not sure if he's doing a little housekeeping there, if he's kind of helping Brooklyn with foot placement on the rubber. Again, it's nice this morning, but it was very damp yesterday and overnight last night. A lot of dew, a lot of condensation, so the dirt around the mound a little moist. Maybe you can tell a little bit on your screen, but even the dirt at home plate kind of thick and heavy.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on out here at the mound right now, but
there definitely seems to be something that the Newfoundland coach, Mark Healy, wanted to go out. He was stomping around out there. It was almost like he was trying to pat down the dirt and harden it up. Maybe he feels that his pitcher Childs is not really getting a good plant on her lead leg, and maybe that's affecting her delivery a little bit. Not sure, but he was definitely stomping around out there trying to pat down that mound dirt.
Usually when coaches are out there that long, they would like to have a word with the umpire. That's the whole point of to just wait.
Trying to get the ump out, and that goes to the backstop. Covering is Childs, and Stymus is
nice
out.
All the way to third. Good heads up.
So that pitch goes to the backstop. Stymus saw the opportunity, took off. The catcher, Ashton, got back quickly, Companion got back quickly, and Childs, good presence of mind to jump off that mound, cover home plate. Companion got her the ball, and Childs, all she had to do was wait for Stymus to run into her. Stymus was tagged out, but to your point, good heads-up base running by Harvey, who ended up taking the extra base. Now Harvey down at third. So Stymus is tagged out at home.
We have some defensive changes here. Looks like the first baseman has come out.
So we'll try to get those updated for you in just a minute. Childs still on the mound for Newfoundland and Labrador. And she just helped cut down the potential tying run as they were able to tag Allie Stymus out, trying to come home after that ball went to the backstop. Abby Ashton, the shortstop, batting now. She's the number 7 hitter in the New Brunswick lineup. She bats with 1 out and 1 on. And that is hit towards Byrne at second. That'll score a run. And the runner retired at first.
Great job.
But Ashton, nice piece of hitting, taking it to the right side, allowing Harvey to trot home with no problems at all. So New Brunswick has indeed tied the game at 1.
Hallie Rogerson.
So an RBI for Ashton on the ground out. The number 8 hitter for New Brunswick now, the pitcher Hallie Rogerson. Interesting to see and I don't know if she's a switch hitter, but I doubt if she is. If she was, she'd be hitting from the left side, but a left-handed pitcher batting from the right side.
Left-handed pitcher batting from the right. I am a left-hander and I bat right.
Interesting. I've always found that a little interesting as well. Because you would think, if you're left-handed, you shoot hockey left, you throw left, you'd shoot basketball left, and you would hit left.
Honestly, the only thing I do with my left hand is throw a baseball in right. Hockey, I shoot right. Golf, I right.
Interesting.
I play soccer, I kick the ball with my right foot.
So you're, in a weird way, ambidextrous.
Kind of, yeah.
And now that I think about it, you do see that a little bit in baseball. Left-handers bat from the right side.
Yeah.
I'd like to know the analytics and the numbers on that, the statistics.
Ricky Henderson's another one. You know what you don't see a lot of is a left-handed switch hitter. Name one.
You know why? That's a good point.
I have one in my head, and I know it because I noticed it when I was a kid. I think it was the only one that I could think of.
Kirby Puckett.
Nope, right-handed hitter. And right-handed.
Now we'll keep guessing as we go along.
I will give you a hint.
Rogerson lifts that high into the air. Turner settles under it, shields the eyes from the sun, and makes the catch. So Rogerson pops out to first. New Brunswick retired in the top of the second, but they do get a run. Hannah Harvey came around to score on the sack ground out from Abby Ashton. So after an inning and a half, New Brunswick has tied it up with Newfoundland and Labrador 1-1. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up for Newfoundland and Labrador in the bottom of the second. It'll be Mackenzie Byrne, Kylie Gear, and Hannah Legg. All right, now you're going to give me a hint.
He played for the Expos, first baseman.
Newfoundland and Labrador 1, New Brunswick
Not, I'm talking about the 90s now, before they moved.
Newfoundland and Labrador was 23
Oh my,
for a total
the first one popped into my head was Galarraga.
He was a right-handed hitter.
Yeah, he was a right-handed. Yeah, but he was, when you said first base, he was the first one popped into my head. Al Oliver was a lefty, right? But I'm going way back. That's not 90s. It's trivia time with Scott and Chris.
Do you want to know the answer?
No, I don't want to know the answer. I want to keep guessing. Hey, somebody tweet us the answer if you know.
He also played for. He was a little bit of a journeyman around the end. He played for the Mariners, but I remember watching him on the Expos. That's when I first noticed it.
A switch hitting
He played for
first
the Expos
baseman who played first base.
from 95 to 97.
Cliff Floyd.
Nope. Left-handed hitter.
Goodness gracious me. 95 to 99.
95 to 97. So that was the good years for the Expos, right?
Yeah, that was their, because the strike year was, 94 was a strike year, but they still had a pretty good team.
And you know what? He hit 300 2 of those years.
My goodness. I can't get Andres Galarraga out of my head.
But he was a right-hander.
No, I know, but I can't picture anybody at first base other than Galarraga.
So
right
he would
now.
have went to the Rockies then. That was their Larry Walker days too, right? Larry Walker, Galarraga, Bichette.
Yeah, because things kind of fell apart for the Expos after 94 strike year. I'm an Expos fan. I remember it well, but why? I'm drawing a complete blank.
Oh, this one's I don't know. You might you would have to like I said, I noticed it because he was the only one I really noticed that was left-handed and a switch hitter. The first guy I noticed.
And I'm actually, because I am a die-hard Expos fan, so I am actually kicking myself right now that I can't think of it. Because I can go back, I can think of guys like Larry Parrish, Chris Spire, but again, I'm going back to the 80s.
Okay, so go 95. 95 would have been like their last.
Spike Owen was at short. Oh, I'm trying to even think of their batting order.
He might have been. Larry Walker might have been on. Was Larry Walker last year at the Expos was 94 before the strike year?
He was with them the strike year.
But he wasn't the year after, right? Or
yeah.
what, maybe one more year?
Maybe, yeah, because it was after that that
Right.
they kind of
introduced
broke up the
Vladdy.
band.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott_FFM on Twitter. Come on, tweet me the answer. We can't give up that easy, and I'm not going to Google it. That's the easy way out. I'm not going to Google it. We've still got several innings left for me to think of this. When I stop thinking about it, it'll pop in my head.
When I tell you the answer.
Now, is it someone that would be considered more on the obscure side, or do they have a fairly, noticeable, recognizable career?
Not a recognizable career. Like, not a home run.
Because if you're gonna pull out like a Buddy Biancalana,
Nope. If you know what though, like you probably will be like, that's not a real Expo because he's played so many different places. Like he wasn't like he spent some time, like I said, bouncing around. He even played for the Jays at one point. Now
Leading off the bottom of the second for Newfoundland and Labrador, number 12, Mackenzie Byrne.
I'll give you another hint. He started with Baltimore and finished with Baltimore. So he started in 1990 and finished in 04.
All right, I'm going to work on that. Meanwhile, bottom of the second inning, Newfoundland and Labrador, 6, 7, and 8 hitters up. Mackenzie Byrne, Kylie Gear, and Hannah Legg as they face the lefty Rogerson in this 1-1 tie. Mackenzie Byrne is the extra hitter in the Newfoundland and Labrador lineup. Mackenzie from the Mount Pearl area. Mount Pearl has certainly grown over the years, now considered to be the Twin Cities with St. John's and Mount Pearl. And that one bobbled down at first base, but gathering it up in the nick of time was the first baseman, Hannah Harvey, so she gets the out, and Byrne is retired. So one away here to start the bottom of the second.
The center fielder, number 17, Kylie Gear.
Rogerson. The pitch to Kylie Gear. Gear, the center fielder for Newfoundland and Labrador. Hannah Legg, second baseman, on deck. Newfoundland and Labrador wearing that familiar maroon that you often see Newfoundland and Labrador provincial teams wear. And that's going to be just inside the bag. I think that took a little hook to the left at the last minute. I thought that was going to go over the bag.
Very close.
Both umpires home plate and down the third base line there to make that call quickly. So it just ends up being a strike against Kylie Gear. Brad Wilkerson.
No.
See, that name just came out of nowhere. Rogerson. That's a good guess, though, right?
It was a really good guess.
That one bounces in the dirt, but no harm, no foul, nobody on base. In case you're just joining us and you're wondering what the heck Chris and I are talking about, I'm Scott Squires, Chris Head. On headset with me, he's from the Dartmouth Moosehead Dry. And we're doing a little trivia. I'm trying to think of a switch-hitting first baseman who played for the Expos for 3 years in the mid-'90s, who was, as I said, a switch hitter, but his original batting and throwing was left. Now, I know it's not Warren Cromartie because that's going way back to the 80s
90s.
again.
He played on the Expos 95, 97.
I keep
Started with Baltimore, finished in Baltimore.
All right, I'm going to keep working on it.
Even played for the Blue Jays for a very short stint.
That's not helping at all, Chris.
I know.
That pitch to the inside to Gear, and Gear takes the base on balls.
The second baseman,
First
number
base.
14, Hannah Legg.
So the base on balls to Kylie Gear sends her down to first. Second baseman Hannah Legg will step in now for Newfoundland and Labrador. Legg from Cowhead in Newfoundland and Labrador, representing her community proudly here at this national event. Rogerson, the lefty, looks back the runner. And typically, anytime a runner at first base, their lead will be a little shorter when they're looking across the diamond at a left-hander on the mound. Rogerson again staring down Gear over at first base. And that might be trouble. Pearson is there, can't get to it, bounces in front of the right fielder. So Hannah Legg with the single into right field. So Gear heads down to second.
Now batting for Newfoundland
Legg
and
at first.
Labrador, number 8, Bethany Brophy.
So Bethany Brophy, the number 9 hitter in this Newfoundland and Labrador batting order. She plays third base, and she's batting here with 1 out and 2 on. Gear down at second, Legg at first. Your Newfoundland and Labrador runners here in the bottom of the second of this 1-1 tie versus New Brunswick. Rogerson opens up with a ball in the dirt, but swinging at it was Brophy, so that's a strike. First game of the day here. It's day 2 of the Baseball Canada 16U Girls Invitational in Rogerson. That pitch was well outside. Stymist has to jump up out of the crouch to make the catch. Stymist wearing that maroon arm sleeve.
Also New Brunswick colors.
Also New Brunswick colors indeed, correct.
Usually a little bit of green too. We always seen green in New Brunswick. Unless you're Royals, then it's blue and white.
That's right. Freddie Royals. Freddie Beach. Never could figure out why they call it Freddie Beach. I haven't
still
found a
don't
beach in
understand that.
Fredericton.
Yeah, I still understand that.
Again, you see Rogerson very cognizant of the runners, and that pitch inside. And I'm not sure if the off-speed slowness of that pitch kind of fooled Bethany Brophy, but she kind of looked off balance as she swung through that pitch. So Brophy goes down on strikes. That's the second out of the inning, and an important strikeout right there for the lefty Rogerson.
The catcher, number 6, Haley Companion.
So Haley Companion, the number 10 hitter in the lineup. She's catching today, and she was part of that tag-out play at home when the pitch went to the backstop and Stymist tried to score. Companion was there to get the ball to the pitcher, and the tag was laid on, and Stymist was out at home. Speaking of pitches to the backstop, that one goes all the way to the cage in the back, and the Newfoundland and Labrador runners each advance a base. So now Gear down to third, Legg down to second. Was the last name Turner?
No, sir.
Can't think of the first name. There's a
Turner
kid
Ward.
Turner Ward. That's what I was trying to think of.
Played for the
Wasn't
Pirates
Turner
too.
Ward.
Also played for the Jays.
That's right. See, now the obscure names are starting to pop into my head. I'm trying to think of the unobvious answer here. Not Terry Francona.
No, sir.
I was going to say that would almost be too obvious. That pitch
He's
from
not a
Rogerson.
manager. He's not. I haven't seen him in the game since he left. Haven't even heard about him since he left.
Oh, my. The plot thickens. Rogerson in jeopardy of losing Companion to a base on balls here and loading the bases. And that's exactly what happened. So Rogerson definitely not able to find her rhythm right now on the mound for New Brunswick. The lefty has had some bumps along
Number
the way
3,
in both
Joel
the first and now here in the second. So Companion walks. That loads the bases with 2 outs as we go back to the top of the Newfoundland and Labrador order. Joelle Vokey steps in. She struck out swinging in the first. She's 0 for 1, but an RBI chance here. Ground ball. This could be trouble. They got to touch any base. There's the flip to second and not handled. Bobbled by Kilpatrick. Tough situation there as the slow roller to Ashton. They knew they had to hurry just because of the speed of that ball. It took a long time to get to the shortstop, Ashton.
Pitcher,
by the time she
number
got there,
10,
maybe Kilpatrick just felt a little rushed and might have been maybe looking up before she actually
Yeah.
received that ball cleanly. She has the bobble, and it is an error on the second baseman, Kilpatrick, and it allows one Newfoundland run to score as Kylie Gare comes across. Everybody else moves up a base. So Vokey reaches on the fielder's choice. Companion safe on the error to Kilpatrick. And now it's Brooklyn Childs. So Newfoundland and Labrador jumps back into the lead. Now 2-1. Rogerson got the ground ball she wanted.
Oh.
And that is stung. This could be into the gap, and it is. It falls just over the head of the center fielder, Waugh, and this could clear the bases. And the ball bobbled. Throw comes home, and indeed, it is a run-clearing hit by Childs. And Brooklyn Childs helps her own cause as the pitcher clears the bases.
She crushed it.
So we'll have to wait and see whether they give her a double and a fielder's choice or if they credit her with a triple. So the official scorer gives the nod of approval to a triple for Brooklyn Childs. And that was a well-struck ball. One of the better hit balls we've seen through the first day here in a bit.
Number 33, Andrea Turner.
3 RBIs for Brooklyn Childs as Legg, Companion, and Vokey all come in to count. And Cassidy Waugh really did everything she could to try and track that ball down in center field. It was kind of shaded a little over toward right center. She made a great effort, did the center fielder Waugh, but that ball was just hit too sharply and it was over her head. And they got it in as quickly as they could, but by the time they were able to get that ball into the infield, the damage was done and 3 runs had come across. So there's the pitch now from Rogerson, and gets the outside to the batter, the first baseman, Andrea Turner. Turner doubled and was stranded back in the first. She's the number 3 hitter in this Newfoundland and Labrador lineup. And she's the 8th batter to come to bat here in the bottom of the second. And Stuymus did a great job to block that, but Childs coming home, throws there, not in time. So Stuymus did a great job to block it, but good base running, aggressive base running by Childs, and she comes in to score. So this turning into a big inning for Newfoundland and Labrador. And it all started with an innocent ground ball to the first baseman. That was the first out of the inning. But since then, Newfoundland and Labrador have pushed 5 runs across. Andrea Turner swings at that one, goes down on strikes, but damage done by Newfoundland and Labrador. They push across 5, and after 2 complete, they lead New Brunswick 6-1. We'll be back with the top of the third after this, and I'll still rack my brain trying to think of that switch hitter who threw left and played for the Expos. We'll be back.
Faith Kilpatrick.
Off to the top of the third inning, New Brunswick now find themselves down 6-1 here. It'll be the 9, 10, and 1 hitters due up for New Brunswick. Faith Kilpatrick leading off here, swings at that pitch and misses. Harley Foubert will be next, and then it's Avery Dolan. And again, it's New Brunswick now down by 5, and Childs starts the inning with a strikeout. So she had the big bases clearing triple with 3 RBIs and scored a run, and now Childs comes out on the mound,
number 30,
and gets the first batter via the strikeout. Left fielder Harley Foubert now bats, and a defensive change of note for Newfoundland and Labrador. Joelle Vokey out of the game, so her replacement in left field is Shiloh Chislett. Shiloh from Stephenville out on the west coast of Newfoundland. Childs into the windup.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winning 50-50 ticket number is 618614. You can go to the canteen and pick up your winnings.
That pitch outside.
614.
Strike called as Childs paints the black on that outside corner. Harley Foubert, the left fielder, bats here with the bases empty and 1 out. That pitch framed by Companion, but called a ball. Does that ever work when the catcher frames the pitch?
It does help. They like to, umpires, they like to see that you're showing them. So sometimes if you're showing them consistently, they understand that if you're framing it, that means you think it's there.
I always find it interesting, especially at the major league level, when there'll be a pitch about an inch off the ground and the catcher will quickly catch it and snap the glove off.
That's what they don't like, though, because then they feel like you're doing that every pitch, so you're trying to trick them into thinking it's a strike. If you just frame it and leave it, a lot of umpires appreciate that more as opposed to trying to move it in.
That slow roller to Healy. She gathers it up and gets it across, so 2 away quickly here as Foubert is retired 6-3. Short to first. Back to the top of the order. Avery
19,
Dolan.
Avery
She
Dolan.
singled and was stranded in the first, so she's 1 for 1. She's the extra hitter currently in this New Brunswick lineup. In case you're wondering, the extra hitter, a new wrinkle added where a team can put in 10 batters in the lineup, and one of them is the extra hitter. So you can bat 10 through your lineup instead of the usual 9. Childs going away from the left-handed batter. Childs working quickly here. She's not wasting any time. She's getting that ball on the rubber, and she's just throwing.
That's how you find rhythm.
Look at that. She's on the rubber, and she's just getting there. Let's do a count here as that ball in for a strike. So ball and glove, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6 seconds.
Take the sign, get on the hill.
Yeah. So from the time she's getting that ball in her glove, she's about a 5-6 second turnaround before she's delivering the pitch. And as you said, she's in a rhythm right now. She's getting ahead of the hitters. She puts one up high, perhaps trying to get Dolan to chase, and Dolan draws the walk. So the base on balls to Avery Dolan keeps the inning alive for New Brunswick. That'll bring the right fielder, Lydia
Number
Pearson,
18,
up.
Lydia Pearson.
Pearson popped out to third. She's 0 for 1. Now we'll see if the delivery for Childs slows a little here, as she's going to want to check on that runner Dolan over at first. That's outside for a ball. Childs working quickly again. Dolan. Here she is. We'll see what kind of a lead she takes here. She doesn't have much. There's a bit of a short lead. I think she knows that Childs working quickly, also keeping an eye. Swing and a miss by the batter Pearson, and they'll throw this down. And a pretty quick inning for the pitcher Childs. She gives up a base on balls. Other than that, a swift top of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors. One runner left on base after 2.5. New Brunswick is trailing 6-1. We'll be back.
Legato.
Newfoundland and Labrador batting in the bottom of the third. They scored 1 in the first, 5 in the second. They lead New Brunswick 6-1. 4, 5, and 6 due up here for New Brunswick as Rogerson still out on the mound for New Brunswick, and the lefty opens up Patty Callahan with the strike. Chantal grounded out to the first baseman and got an RBI out of it as she sacrificed Brooklyn Childs home. Rogerson, that pitch well outside to the left-handed batter Patty Callahan. Maddie Healy next, and then Mackenzie Byrne. Any of the first three reach, it'll be Kylie Gear, who would be fourth. Big inning in the second for Newfoundland and Labrador. For New Brunswick, as a team, it's important to not give up anything here in this inning, but certainly for the pitcher Rogerson as well. I'm sure her confidence a little bit shaken. So if she can come out here and work through this lineup quickly and get New Brunswick back into the batter's box, that's going to make her feel a little bit better about things. It's kind of been a mixed bag as well. You know, she's gotten some ground ball out. She struck out 3 through the first 2 innings.
She's just got to find a rhythm again. Talked about the Newfoundland pitcher finding the rhythm, getting on the hill and just throwing strikes. That's a nice pitch there.
And that is a great pitch, freezing the batter, Patty Callahan, painting the inside. And Rogerson gets her 4th strikeout as Patty Callahan goes down
Number
looking.
32, Anissa Smith. Sorry. Cast number 16.
Little moment of levity
Cassidy
there
Wall.
as the in-house PA announcer announced the wrong jersey number. And Maddie Healy kind of swung the head, moved the ponytail, and showed the 16 on her back and said, 16 with a big grin on her face. That was a nice moment. Big grin from Maddie Healy. And, of course, the PA announcer politely apologizes and announces 16. And Healy, just off that pitch, fouling it straight back into the cage. There was no link fencing there. We could have made a spectacular catch on that one.
Or Worse.
or gotten a black eye. That's right. Maddie Healy grounded out in the first at bat and grounds out in her second at bat. A great play by Ashton at short. So Healy grounded out to third in her first at bat, grounds out to short in her second at bat, and there's 2 away for Newfoundland and Labrador.
Mackenzie Burns.
So the extra hitter, Mackenzie Burns, steps in. She grounded out to the first baseman in the second inning, so she's 0 for 1, and she bats here with 2 away, and the base is empty, and that's going to be in there. Bouncing in front of the right fielder, Pearson. And Pearson makes the throw from shallow right field. Why not, I guess? So there's a look now at the runner Byrne down at
center
first.
Fielder number 17, Kylie Gear.
So the single from Byrne brings up center fielder Kylie Gear. Gear walked and scored a run in the second, part of that big 5-run second inning for Newfoundland and Labrador. She bounces that one foul down the left field side. Rogerson looking to get out of this inning unscathed. Newfoundland scored 1 in the first. Five in the second, and that's their 6. Scott Squires, Chris Head, your broadcast team here this morning. Rogerson, quick check of the runner. That pitch outside, and off goes Byrne. Oh, it was to the right side of the bag, but it bounced just in front of Kilpatrick. So in there with the stolen base is Mackenzie Byrne. Byrne down at second base, and Gear takes that one into the dirt. Lots of chatter from the third base coach for Newfoundland and Labrador. Just past 10 a.m. here in Bedford, Nova Scotia. A beautiful Friday morning, great day for baseball, and strike 3 held on to by Stymist. So that pretty much is a very good bounce back inning right there for Rogerson.
Very good.
So she gives up the single, but gets a couple of strikeouts. And Rogerson gets herself out of that third inning without any damage being done. So 3 complete. Newfoundland and Labrador leading 6-1. Top of the fourth. And swinging early is the leadoff hitter. That was Anissa Smith, and Smith gets herself a high looping base hit. We'll see now whether they're going to call that an error or a single.
Number 16, Cassidy Waugh.
So Anissa Smith, tough chance high into the air. It was kind of one of those, you got it, I'll take it. And Smith on base with the single. So a leadoff runner for New Brunswick in the top of the fourth. Center fielder, Cassidy Waugh. She's the cleanup hitter in this New Brunswick lineup. That pitch causes the batter Waugh to duck out of the way.
You can sit down.
So Brooklyn Childs dealing with the runner now at second base as Smith swiped the extra bag.
It isn't working either.
That ball chopped back to the pitcher. Stymus is retired over at first, but the run comes in to score as Anissa Smith turns her single into the second New Brunswick run.
Number 20, Hannah Harvey.
So Cassidy Waugh struck out, and that ball high into right field.
Base hit.
Bounces in front of Pearson, or excuse me, the right fielder for Newfoundland and Labrador. That was Patty Callahan.
You still haven't figured it out yet, have you?
Still working on that trivia
Number
question.
15,
We'll get there eventually.
Abby Ashton.
If I don't think of it by the end of the game, you'll have to tell me.
That's your limit. That's the expiration date.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So Stymus, she grounded out. But Smith did come in to score. So it's 6-2. Here's that pitch from Childs inside for a strike.
The red Kia Sportage parked over by the canteen. You have somebody blocked in that has to leave. Could you please move your car? Thank you.
So after the Hannah Harvey double, that pass ball now puts her on third base for the batter, Abby
Now batting
Ashton.
number 22, Hallie Rogerson.
So New Brunswick with a little something going here, and that pitch inside, I think it just caught a little bit of the bat. I heard a little tink up
Might
here.
have caught the knob of it.
So Ashton down at first, Hannah Harvey on third. The batter is Hallie Rogerson. She popped out to the pitcher in the second. She's 0 for 1. That pitch curves to the outside, and Ashton will just jog into second base. So New Brunswick, a little bit of a mini rally going here, Chris.
Yeah. Seen something similar yesterday.
So it's 6-2. Couple aboard here for Rogerson. And that pitch bounces in. Good job by Haley Companion to block that. Brooklyn Childs trying to work herself out of a bit of a pinch here. And that pitch high for a ball. So Childs has got herself in a full-blown jam right now.
The second baseman, number 24, Faith Kilpatrick.
So bases full of New Brunswick runners. Harvey at third, Ashton at second, Rogerson at first. But there are two out. And the batter is Faith Kilpatrick. And Kilpatrick, the number 9 hitter in the New Brunswick lineup, and she struck out swinging in the third. Big chance here with 2 away. Steps back, swings at that one, but it's a strike.
Oh.
And that goes to the backstop. Another play at the plate, and safe is Hannah Harvey. So Harvey comes in. And everybody else moves up a base. So Ashton to third, Rogerson to second, and Kilpatrick stands at the dish. So a couple across here in the top of the fourth for New Brunswick. Will lead now 6-3. And you just saw maybe on the mound, I don't know if you could quite pick it up, but Childs kind of with the big exhale. Because I think she's feeling a little frustrated here in this top of the fourth. And, well, maybe that big sigh helped relieve some of the pressure. She delivers a big strikeout as Kilpatrick goes down looking. But New Brunswick does score a pair, and after 3.5, Newfoundland and Labrador leading, but now it's 6-3 over New Brunswick.
Newfoundland.
So Newfoundland and Labrador batting here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They've seen their lead cut now to 6-3. And the pinch hitter, Katie Penny, came in defensively in the last inning for Newfoundland and Labrador. So number 4 in maroon gets her first at bat here against Hallie Rogerson. Rogerson with the pitch. And that's a walk. So a leadoff base on balls to Katie Penny.
Number 8. Now batting for Newfoundland and Labrador, number 13, Madison Lockyer.
So Madison Lockyer, a pinch hitter as the changes start to come fast and furious now. So Bethany Brophy being pinch hit for, and it's Madison Lockyer. So this is the first at bat for Lockyer, obviously. Lockyer, another player on this Newfoundland and Labrador squad from the capital city of St. John's. And she takes that pitch out towards second base.
Another play at second.
Goes underneath the glove. Here we go. Ball in plenty of time to get the lead runner.
A 9-6 fielder's choice.
And
the ever popular.
Katie Penny cut down. Indeed, it's the 9-6. And Lockyer reaches on the fielder's choice.
The catcher,
Penny
number
is
6,
retired.
Haley Companion.
And it's 1 on, 1 out for the number 10 hitter, the catcher, Haley Companion. Swing and a miss as Companion went down to a knee, looking to drive that ball. Scott Squires and Chris Head with you as we work into the bottom of the fourth inning. Rogerson, the lefty. She started the game for New Brunswick, and she's still out there. Newfoundland and Labrador scored 1 in the first, 5 in the second, and a much better inning for Rogerson and New Brunswick in the third, as they kept Newfoundland and Labrador off the score sheet and then scored a couple themselves. So 6-3 is your score in the bottom of the fourth, and the runner off. Throw is there, and a great throw and a great catch out there at second base. So just like that, 2 away, but what a nice play by Stymus. She got it to the first base side of the bag at second, and really for the second baseman just had to glide over, grab it, and apply the tag. So Kilpatrick, the recipient of that nice throw from Stymus, and Lockyer cut down from the throw from the catcher to second. So a nice little defensive inning here for New Brunswick, Chris.
Oh yeah, no, I love seeing plays like that. That's a momentum swing type play.
Companion, there's going to be trouble, and kind of in that gnome person's land triangle out there between first, second, and the pitcher, and that off the bat it was kind of like, okay, is it going to go fair? Is it going to go foul? What's going to happen? Rogerson came off the mound. Everybody kind of converged on it. Meanwhile, Companion just kept chugging down the line.
One of those situations where everyone just looks at one another instead of just talking.
Yeah, I got it. You take it.
Yep.
Nobody's got it. So Companion reaches on that little infield roller. Almost like a bunt, the way it came off the bat.
Yeah.
Back to the top of the order now. This is Shiloh Chislett. Chislett came on to replace Joelle Vokey. And Chislett stings that one to left. Takes a couple of hops to the left fielder. And Chislett on with a solidly hit ball into left field. That was a no-doubter off the bat.
Yeah, she stung that ball.
Number 10, Brooklyn Childs.
So the number 2 hitter in this Newfoundland and Labrador lineup, Brooklyn Childs. The pitcher for Newfoundland and Labrador settles in here with 2 on and 2 out, and she takes that right on the right shoulder. Looks okay. I guess if you're going to take a pitch anywhere, it's kind of in that kind of thick part of the top part of the shoulder.
Yeah, the only thing is that's her throwing shoulder, right? She's a pitcher too.
Good point.
Number 33, Andrea Turner.
So now all of a sudden with a couple outs here, Newfoundland and Labrador have loaded the bases. And Andrea Turner doubled in her first at bat, struck out swinging and reaches for that one. That pitch well outside. Turner reaches and misses, strike 1. Any kind of base hit here will push them right back into the lead. And that one, nice play indeed, as coming over to make the catch, a basket catch, as Hannah Harvey makes a big catch, a big out for Rogerson and New Brunswick. Newfoundland and Labrador, they loaded the bases, but they don't get any runs after 4 complete. It is 6-3, Newfoundland and Labrador leading New Brunswick. We'll be back. To the top of the 5th now for New Brunswick. It'll be the number 10, 1, and 2 hitters due up. Leading off is the left fielder, Harley Foubert. She grounded out to short in her first at bat. She's 0 for 1.
New pitcher as well, looks like.
Indeed, new pitcher out there for Newfoundland and Labrador. It's a left-hander. It's Chantal Patey Callahan. So Patey Callahan moves from right field to the mound. And out now in right field for Newfoundland and Labrador is Hannah Legg. So we'll set the Newfoundland defense for you now. Right to left in the outfield, Legg, Gear, and Chislett. The infield from first to third, Turner, Childs, Healy, and Lockyer. And that is popped into the air. Patty Callahan is there and kind of went for the basket catch at the last minute. I think she might have just lost it there for a moment. And it ends up being an E1. And Foubert gets on base.
Now batting number 19, Avery Dolan.
Nice move.
So Patty Callahan, a little slick lefty slide step over.
Lefties are cheaters on the mound. They are cheaters.
There's a look at the runner. Foubert over at first. And that pitch to Dolan, a ball. So Avery Dolan, the extra hitter in the New Brunswick lineup. She singled and was stranded in the first, walked and was stranded in the third. New Brunswick scored 1 run in the second, 2 in the fourth. They trail 6-3 here in the top of the 5th inning. Patty Callahan in on relief. Let me try that again. On in relief. Still haven't had enough tea yet today, Chris.
I only had 1 coffee so far.
So Brooklyn Childs started. Pitched pretty well overall. She gets taken out of the game with that 6-3 lead, and Patty Callahan, the lefty, now picking it up here in the 5th for Newfoundland and Labrador. And that's a base on balls. So the error and the walk have put the 2 first hitters aboard here for New Brunswick in the top of the 5th.
Number 18, Lydia Pearson.
So Lydia Pearson will bat here for New Brunswick. Pearson 0 for 2 with a pop out and a strikeout. Little chat now on the mound. As it was Brooklyn Childs, who's now out at second base and started the game on the mound, comes in to just have a little chat with her relief pitcher, Patty Callahan. And how many times do you see that little chat on the mound, whether it's with another player or a coach, and then the pitcher bears down and comes in and gets a strike?
I knew that was coming. She's not pausing.
Patty Callahan looking over towards the Newfoundland and Labrador dugout with the hands up kind of going, what?
Yeah, she is. You have to come set with runners on. And I'm just the first one, she was pretty close. I was going to bring it up. So with a windup, you can do whatever you want, really. But with runners on, you have to come set in a pause. She almost balked again there. That's a balk, too.
And again, you see the umpire very demonstrative saying she didn't come set.
You have to. What they're supposed to do is they're supposed to explain it to her and tell her exactly what she's doing. And all she's doing, she just has to come set. And I always call it just 1 Mississippi. So you come set 1 Mississippi, then throw. Just show the pause. So the coach is doing it now. It's all it is just relax.
And that's a good job by the coach, Mark Healy, to come out. And he's doing just what you said. He is going through it and explaining it to the pitcher. And again, let's keep in mind, these are 16 years. These are just young players, and so much of the game learned. And I mean, you've been playing the game a long time, and I'm sure there's things that you learn on a regular basis.
And the balk is so I always call it a gray area because there's certain things that you can do on the mound, but you can't do on the mound. And some guys let it go, some guys call it, some guys don't. You know what I mean? Like it can be tricky. So on a balk, the umpire is supposed to tell you exactly what you did, so you don't do it again. Right, that's part of the thing. So I always, for example, Blaine was calling balks yesterday, and Blaine would go right to the mound and explain it. So you take the time to do it so that don't do it again. But unfortunately, she did not pause again. So
back-to-back balks brought Harley Foubert in. So Foubert scores the 4th New Brunswick run. And that's fouled up into the cage behind home plate. So Foubert reached on an error. Dolan walked. And a couple of balks later, Foubert is in to score. Dolan down on third and called third strike.
Nice pitch.
So Patey Callahan settles in and strikes out Pearson looking. Big out right there for the Newfoundland and Labrador left-hander. That'll help settle the nerves.
He's going full
Number
windup now
32.
too, so.
Anissa Smith.
So that'll bring Anissa Smith up to bat. She's the number 3 hitter for New Brunswick in their lineup. She struck out in the first, singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the fourth. So the little bit of encouragement, a little bit of explanation from the Newfoundland and Labrador bench boss seems to have settled Patey Callahan here. And that's chopped to Healy.
Nice
And
play.
that'll go to first. So the run will score, but the second out is recorded by Newfoundland and Labrador as Smith grounds out 6-3. Oh, good play,
Now
good
batting
throw
for
by the
Brunswick,
shortstop
number
Healy.
16, Cassidy Waugh.
However, Dolan does come in to score, and now all of a sudden, Chris, what was a 6-1 lead has now evaporated, and it's just a single-run advantage for Newfoundland and Labrador, 6-5.
Chipping away. Hit by pitch here. Let's see if she pauses this time.
So the base on balls. There you see the
catcher,
runner Cassidy Waugh.
Number 17, Allie Stymos.
So Waugh down at first. And she gets her lead. And Stymos digs in.
Yeah, I knew that.
And off goes Waugh. And in there, no problem at all. So a stolen base for Cassidy Waugh. So Allie Stymos steps in. Stymos walked and stole a base and then was thrown out at home in the second. And she grounded out to the pitcher in the fourth. That ball bounces into the dirt. Waugh thought about it, but then trots back. Good job by Stymos to let her teammate know that it wasn't going that far. She should stay there at second base. Good communication with the New Brunswick squad. And now Stymos will call time and back away. This game about an hour and 40 minutes old. Certainly a quicker pace than some of the games we saw yesterday, Chris. I don't want to jinx it, but
Oh,
that's
you did
it.
now.
And that one, as Stymos leaned out of the batter's box one way, fouls it the other way as it dribbles just to the outside of the third base line. Little dusting of the plate by the umpire. I always think that umpires must be very good at home, like sweeping up the floor and stuff. Just the way that they're so efficient when they clean that plate. They must get home, grab the broom, sweep it underneath the cupboards in the kitchen, and
It's a little different. We're getting paid though.
I suppose that's right. My payment is a nice clean kitchen. That's where I usually sweep the most, is my kitchen. So quick little chat here between the catcher companion and Patey Callahan on the mound. 2 outs here for New Brunswick in this top of the fifth, but they've got a couple of runs in, and they've inched a little closer now. They trail just by 1 at 6-5, and Stymos, she'll trot down to first. The base on balls. So now 2 aboard for New Brunswick.
Number 20, Hannah Harvey.
Hannah Harvey digs in. She's having herself a pretty good day. She walked and scored a run in the second. She tripled and scored a run in the fourth. So Hannah Harvey been on base a couple of times, scored a couple of runs, and she bats here with 2 on, 2 out. Top of the fifth inning here in this first game on day 2. It's the 2018 16U Baseball Canada Girls Invitational, and that one,
It's going to move up.
it is indeed. Hannah Harvey ducks out of the way. Both runners advance. Waugh down to third, Stymus to second. Patty Callahan getting encouragement from the dugout. Trying to get out of this inning. She's ahead in the count, 1-2 to the batter, Hannah Harvey. Abby Ashton on deck for New Brunswick if the inning continues. Scott Squires, Chris Head with you on a Friday morning here. I almost said Saturday. Sometimes
Feels
the
like
days,
Saturday.
the days of the week blend together.
Oh, you should be on a teacher schedule in the summer. Every day's Friday.
Just got to look at the calendar to remind yourself. We certainly appreciate you taking time to join us on the broadcast. I know they're busy getting ready for the school year that starts in a couple of years, or a couple of weeks, a couple of years. Good grief. That would be a long vacation, wouldn't it?
Great vacation.
Yeah, that'd be a long one. Yeah, I got 2 years off.
Yeah.
Worked for 8 months, 2 years off.
Yep.
But yeah, the school year starting, so I know you're busy getting ready for that. Of course, in the midst of the regular season winding down in the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League, playing with the Dartmouth Moosehead Dry. The 26-1. Man, what a year you guys are having.
It's been good, man. It's been good. Can't complain.
And can't complain as this ball is stung sharply out into right center field. And that's going to score two. And New Brunswick on the 2 RBI single by Hannah Harvey has taken the lead. Well, the great day for Harvey continues.
Shortstop, number 6.
She's been on base all 3 times. She's
Number
been up.
15.
She's got a
Abby
couple of RBIs.
Ashton.
She's scored a couple of runs. She's tripled.
Have a day.
Hannah Harvey, indeed, have a day for sure. So Waugh in to score, Stymus in to score, and New Brunswick has taken the lead.
She's off. And a stolen base on that.
So the batter now, Abby Ashton. So a big 2-out, 2 RBI single by Hannah Harvey. Those 2-out hits, they'll kill you when you're in the defensive side, and they'll lift you when you're on the offense. Ashton grounded out, got an RBI on that ground out, and she also walked and was stranded. That was in the 4th. 4 innings have crossed here for New Brunswick in this top of the 5th. Been a tough inning for Patty Callahan.
Good jump.
And a big jump indeed. Harvey in there standing up, no throw.
I think we talked yesterday about having some paying attention to runners. You absolutely have to pay some attention.
Yeah, I think, again, these are young players learning the game, but I think the 2 balks would have rattled any pitcher.
Yes.
And I think that really rattled Patty Callahan, and she's kind of been mentally, I think she's been tough on herself this entire inning.
Yep. You can tell she just wants to fire strikes in there, and she's starting to. But looks like we're going to have a pitching change here.
So looks like Patty Callahan is going to head to right field. So we'll see who comes in to pitch. So Patty Callahan, you can tell just the body language as she runs out to right field. She takes off the cap, slaps it on her thigh. Don't feel too bad. You're playing in a national championship, and sometimes those things can happen.
Sometimes baseball sucks.
Hey, well, there you go. That should be a T-shirt if it isn't already. So we'll step aside, take a quick break. New Brunswick continuing to bat here in the top of the 5th. They've got 2 on, 2 out, and they've put 4 across to take a 7-6 lead. We'll be back. So the new pitcher on the mound for Newfoundland and Labrador is number 9, Brianna Saunders. Saunders from the central part of the island of Newfoundland, the Grand Falls, Windsor area. And Rogerson.
That's trouble.
That is going to be trouble.
Nice play. And
a great play by Legg, who came in from right field to play second base when the pitching change was made. And that was just kind of I don't even know what to call that hit. It was kind of a half pop fly into nowhere and moving very slowly, but Legg charged it. And what looked to be trouble off the bat of Rogerson ends up being an out. So Newfoundland gets out of the inning, but New Brunswick has popped into the lead after 4.5. It's New Brunswick 7, Newfoundland and Labrador 6. We'll be back. So to the bottom of the fifth, Newfoundland and Labrador now trailing 7-6. 4, 5, and 6 hitters up here for Newfoundland and Labrador. This is Chantal Patey Callahan. She's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. And Hallie Rogerson, the lefty who started the game for New Brunswick, and after that second inning where she gave up 5 runs, didn't know how long her day would be, and here she is now pitching into the fifth with a lead.
Nice.
Resiliency of the southpaw.
Ooh,
and that is taken the other way. And that is indeed into the gap in left center field, right in between Dolan and Foubert out there. So Patey Callahan, things didn't go the way she wanted when she was on the mound pitching, but that'll make her feel a little better with a leadoff double.
That'll bounce you back real quick.
Number 16, Maddie Healy.
I think you're absolutely right earlier when I mentioned the fairly quick pace of this game.
You're not supposed to talk about it.
No. I think as now we're seeing hits and runs and changes, I may have given it that old curse. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I typically don't believe in curses.
The guy I used to play with, Steve Nelson, was big on that. If the game was moving along and someone said, "Oh, this is really cruising by," he would freak out. He'd be like, "It's not now." That's what he'd say. "It's not now." I'd say, "Thanks for ruining it."
That's it. You've ruined it. Taking my stuff and I'm going home.
Oh, no.
And there's another one. Could be in the same area.
You should score. You should score. Nice throw.
Still coming home.
Nice throw.
Stuyvesant! And getting the out at home.
Nice
what
play.
a throw. That is defense at its finest as Maddie Healy crushed that ball into left center field. And the play was made out there by Foubert, who got to it and got it in quickly. And what a throw to the catcher, Stuyvesant. Again, Stuyvesant so good positionally as a catcher.
Number 12,
and with Patey Callahan charging toward the plate, the tag was applied. And just like that, Newfoundland and Labrador has a runner cut down, and New Brunswick stays in the lead. Meanwhile, Healy gets to second base, and now she's going to get a pinch runner. That ball lifted high into the air off the bat of Mackenzie Byrne. And the catch made by the first baseman Harvey, so that's 2 down. So a pinch runner out at second base for Maddie Healy.
Kylie Gear.
So here's an interesting twist. The pinch runner currently out at second base, Molly Healy. She's listed in the program for the tournament as the Newfoundland and Labrador Batgirl.
Really?
So they've brought the Batgirl into pinch run, and she wasn't on the main roster list in terms of what's in the tournament, but she was on the lineup sheet, and she's into the game. But in the actual tournament program, she's down as the Batgirl.
Must have wheels.
She must indeed, and she looks like she's out there leaning. She's got the hands on the knees. She's ready to run out there. So Molly Healy, pinch running for Maddie Healy. And it would be safe to guess that they are probably related to head coach Mark Healy, who is a well-decorated baseball guy from Newfoundland and Labrador.
Did Mark Healy ever play around here?
Mark Healy, well, here I'll get to some of his interesting facts, if you will, that he lists on his bio. He played in the 94 Canadian Junior. He was a Canadian Junior bronze medalist for the Corner Brook Barons in 94. He played in the 93 Canada Summer Games as a player. He coached the 2013 Canada Summer Games for baseball. And he's had 15 Canadian Senior Men's Baseball national appearances with Newfoundland and Labrador. And again, in Newfoundland and Labrador, Mark Healy, very well known in baseball circles for sure. He's been around the game for 36 plus years, been coaching for 25. And that's grounded to short. Little toss over. Ashton to Paquin. And the side retired. So leg will get the fielder's choice. Gear forced out at second. So Newfoundland got the lead-off double. Couldn't cash in. Patey Callahan.
There were no runs and 2 hits and no errors. And
no runs
left on base.
2 hits.
The score after 5
runners left on.
Play. New Brunswick 7, Newfoundland and Labrador 6. The pitch count for New Brunswick was 14 for a total of 92.
No point in trying to compete with the PA announcer. You heard it all right there. 5 complete. New Brunswick leading 7-6. We'll be back.
Jesse Paquin.
So for New Brunswick here, it'll be Jessie Paquin getting her first at bat as some of the substitutions now start to come to the plate. Top of the 6th inning, New Brunswick, who at one point trailed 6-1, they've scored 6 runs in their last 2 innings, and they've taken a 7-6 lead. Brianna Saunders out on the mound for Newfoundland and Labrador. That pitch outside called, third strike. And Paquin, she goes down looking. Paquin, actually a Nova Scotia native from Hammonds Plains, playing on this
Number
New Brunswick
30,
squad.
Harley Foubert.
But the Hammonds Plains player, or native of Hammonds Plains, goes down on strikes, and that'll bring the number 10 hitter in the New Brunswick lineup up to bat. It's Harley Foubert. She reached on an error and scored a run back in the 4th, and she grounded out in the 3rd. So Newfoundland and Labrador trailing by 1. Brianna Saunders is their third pitcher of the day. Two balls and a strike to Foubert. Back to the top of the order after Harley, and Avery Dolan waits on deck. And after this pitch or batter, we'll reset the defense for you for Newfoundland. There have been a couple of changes. That pitch bounces in the dirt. Base on balls. Foubert heads down to first. So, Newfoundland and Labrador now in the outfield, right to left. Patey Callahan, Gear, and Chislett. And in the infield, from first to third, it's Turner, Legg, Childs, and Healy. Companion still doing the catching duties. And, of course, as I mentioned, Brianna Saunders, the third pitcher of the day for Newfoundland and Labrador. Swing and a miss. Big cut there by Avery Dolan. Dolan has singled, walked twice, and scored a run. She's been on base all 3 times she's been up. Looking to get on base here again. And that slow roller to the pitcher, Saunders. She gets it over to Turner. And for the first time today, Avery Dolan is retired.
Number 18, Lydia Pearson.
So Lydia Pearson will step in. Pearson 0 for 3 on the day with a couple of strikeouts. And hits that ball sharply to Childs. Like a goalie going down there to close the legs, making a save. Strong throw across, and the side is retired. So a good inning for Saunders. Nothing there for New Brunswick. 5.5 complete. Newfoundland and Labrador trailing by 1. New Brunswick leads 7-6. Brianna Saunders leading off, grounds it to Waugh, and a long throw across. A good play by the shortstop Waugh. as she retires the batter. So Saunders
The catcher, number 6.
grounds out to start
Haley
off this
Companion.
bottom of the 6th inning. Saunders becomes the 3rd batter that hit in the 9 slot here for Newfoundland and Labrador today. That brings up Haley Companion. New pitcher on for New Brunswick is Abby Ashton. So Hallie Rogerson had a rocky first and 2nd inning, but then settled in, shut Newfoundland and Labrador out the rest of the way, and she leaves the game with the lead. That's lifted into shallow left, and it drops in front of Foubert. So a base hit for a Companion. There have been some changes, so again, we'll quickly set the defense for you. New Brunswick in the outfield, right to left, Pearson, Dolan, and Foubert. And in the infield, first across the diamond to third,
7, Shiloh Chislett.
Harvey, Paquin, Waugh, and Smith. Steim is still catching, and as mentioned, Abby Ashton on the mound. Second pitcher for New Brunswick. Diving back in his Companion, as Ashton checked her there over at first. Bottom of the 6th inning. This game now just about 2 hours and 10 minutes old. And I didn't see, we have another balk call. So it's the only thing it can be.
You have to start a balk counter soon.
I didn't really see any kind of reaction from the pitcher, Ashton. I just saw the runner being told to get down to second base. So that's what matters in this particular case, is that Companion is now down at second for the batter, Shiloh Chislett.
That's a balk too. Didn't call it though.
So Abby Ashton perhaps gets away with one there. Let's watch her again on this delivery. There she is, set to the chest. Checking the runner at second.
That one was good.
That
Fine
pitch
there.
to the inside. Pitch from Ashton.
Nice pitch.
Catches the inside. Chislett didn't take the bat off the shoulder, and that's another strike. Ashton comes inside. Swinging and missing was Chislett. That'll take the count full now to 3-2. Newfoundland and Labrador with a runner in scoring position out at second base. It's Companion. We would dearly love to cash her in. That's a slow little dribbler. It's going to advance the runner, and it goes underneath the glove of Paquin. And the coach down in the third baseline literally stood on the baseline and blocked the runner from going anywhere. There was no doubt that he was going to make sure that the stop sign was up, and just in case the runner Companion didn't see it, he literally was straddling the baseline down there at third.
Number 10.
Hard to miss.
Brooklyn Child.
So Chislett reaches on the error to the second baseman. And now Companion down at third. Brooklyn Child's the batter. Childs has a couple of RBIs, couple of runs scored. A triple is mixed in there as well. And the left-handed batter looking to score a couple here. The runner off, and Stymist, knowing that she had that runner at third, holds the throw to make sure the Companion stays anchored on the bag at third. So Newfoundland and Labrador looking to perhaps tie and even take the lead here. And that pitch fouled off the end of the bat. Childs just getting a little tip on that one. This has been a very intriguing game, actually.
Yeah.
It's been a fun one to call. Hope you're enjoying watching it wherever you're tuned into the live stream. Stymist doing a good job of blocking that one. She does a nice job back behind the plate. I know we've said it before, but hard not to notice how well Stymist catches the game. And that is taken right back up the middle over the head of the pitcher, Ashton. That's going to score one.
Got it.
Stymist there, but the go-ahead run comes in. And a couple of more RBIs for Brooklyn Childs. Give her 4 RBI on the day. Companion comes in to score.
Number 33.
Chislett comes in to score.
Turner.
And Newfoundland and Labrador back into the lead. So 1 out, runner at second base.
That's not a balk. You maybe you don't have to throw to second base. So I'm a little confused. I would like to know what she actually did there.
Well, the balk was called immediately. That's going to send Childs to third base now. Andrea Turner, the batter. As I think all told, I think we've had 4 or 5 balk called in this game.
I think
2 on each team.
Yeah, and I think yesterday I think we had 4 as well.
So Newfoundland and Labrador back into the lead, 8-7.
Nice pitch.
Crowd appreciates that pitch from Ashton. Andrea Turner, 1 for 3 with a double. Again, Stymist active back there, blocking that pitch. She's been getting a workout, has number 17 in black for New Brunswick, Allie Stymist. From Moncton, New Brunswick, the hub city. Very excited, Chris. I'll be doing my second year of play-by-play for the Moncton Magic.
Nice.
The pro team in the National Basketball League of Canada made that official announcement yesterday. So
fantastic.
Hopefully fans of the Moncton Magic are glad to have me back. I didn't see any protest tweets, that's a good thing.
That's a good sign. No news is good news, I guess.
Indeed it is. That's right. Now, listen, great fan base there in Moncton. I'm glad to be back.
I was able to take in a Cape Breton Highlanders game last Christmas, and they were playing the St. John team, I believe.
The Riptide.
Yes. And you know what? I was actually really impressed with the quality of basketball and the players, and I really enjoyed it. And fun fact for you, the PEI head coach, Mr. Tim Kendrick.
Yes, I love Tim. He's a great guy.
Corey Christie's father-in-law.
Wow.
Sooners. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I've had some great conversations with Tim. He is a great guy.
Fabulous
guy.
Talk
about leadership qualities and like team building and making the team like a family. That guy is just sit down and listen and just pick his brain.
That pitch.
That's base hit.
Hammered into the hole. And it is indeed a base hit and another RBI. And Newfoundland now, perhaps a little insurance as they put one more on the board. And I say a little insurance because this is the bottom of the 6th.
Number 23.
7th-inning game. Newfoundland and Labrador now have a lead, and if they can shut New Brunswick down in the top of the 7th, that would be the ball game.
If there's one thing I've noticed watching this is that no lead is safe.
That is a true statement. Hashtag truth on that. So we've got a pinch runner coming into the game. It's number 5, Holly Russell. Holly, another member of this team from Central Newfoundland, from Grand Falls, Windsor. So Russell into pinch run for Turner. And another run has come in to score. 9-7, and that is taken. Could be trouble. Reaching for it is Smith.
Nice play.
She had to dive for it. Nowhere to go once she got up. So Patty Callahan gets on with the infield single. And still just one out here in this bottom of the 6th inning. So Newfoundland and Labrador, after being shut out in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, have bounced back here and have put a couple on the board.
Number 16, Matty Healy.
So Matty Healy, the batter, takes it toward first. Nice play by Harvey. Steps on the bag, and that's 2 outs, and the runners advance. So that's 2 away. The pinch runner, Russell, down to 3rd.
Number 12,
Patey Callahan to
Mackenzie
2nd.
Byrne.
Newfoundland and Labrador looking to go 2-0 here in the tournament. That pitch from Ashton into the dirt. Might be a play here. And sliding in safe is Russell. So another Newfoundland and Labrador run. Holly Russell, the pinch runner, slides in. And Newfoundland and Labrador now hit double digits, 10-7. This is a 4-run inning so far for Newfoundland and Labrador. Tough go here for Abby Ashton, who came on in relief. Mackenzie Byrne, the batter. Byrne 1 for 3.
Ooh, nice catch.
With a single and a stolen base. So Patey Callahan down at 3rd. Mackenzie Byrne, the batter, and the pitch from Ashton. And that's taken.
Oh, nice catch.
Great catch out there by Cassidy Waugh as she climbs the ladder and stabs that line drive that was well hit off the bat of Byrne. New Brunswick retires Newfoundland in the bottom of the 6th, but not before Newfoundland and Labrador add 4 runs, take a 3-run lead. We'll move to the top of the 7th. Newfoundland and Labrador looking to end it. They lead 10-7. We'll be back.
Hack.
New Brunswick, last kick at the can here. Top of the 7th inning of a 7-inning game. They trail by 3. Brianna Saunders, 3rd pitcher of the day for Newfoundland and Labrador. Her task is simple. Do not let New Brunswick get any more runs than 2. Ideally none, but you can give up 2. And that goes underneath the glove. Nice effort as Legg tried to get there. But it is a base hit for Anissa Smith to lead off this 7th inning, and that's a good start for New Brunswick. Get the lead hitter aboard.
Number
Cassidy
16,
Waugh.
Cassidy Waugh.
The center fielder. She's walked a couple of times, scored a run, and struck out as well. So a mixed bag day at the plate for the New Brunswick center fielder Waugh. Saunders checks the runner and comes to the plate inside for a ball. Take a look at the runner, Smith, down at first base for New Brunswick. Not much of a lead over there. And she's off. And that bounces right in front of the plate. So easily into second base is Anissa Smith. So now Smith in scoring position for Cassidy Waugh. Allie Stymist on deck for New Brunswick. At least she's due up. And another one into the dirt. So, one base at a time for Anissa Smith. She's now at third.
The catcher, number 17, Allie Stymist.
So base on balls issued to Waugh. 2 on here to start the inning. And the tying run will come to the plate. It's Allie Stymist. The New Brunswick catcher walked, grounded out, walked again, and then scored a run. So a pitching change here for Newfoundland and Labrador. Going to be taking her warm-up pitches will be Hope Bishop-Frizzell. They'll warm up. We'll be back. Newfoundland trying to hang on. They lead 10-7. First 2 aboard here for New Brunswick. We'll be back. First pitch.
That's trouble.
Is trouble indeed. Stymist finds a hole and gets an RBI. 1 run closer are New Brunswick now.
Now batting number 20, Hannah Harvey.
So a single and an RBI for Stymist. Anissa Smith, after her leadoff single, she comes in to score. And Cassidy Waugh down to third base. New pitcher for Newfoundland and Labrador, and that is just foul. That would have been a tie game had it been over the bag and maybe more. Hope Bishop Frizzell into the game. She wears 21. She's a right-hander. She's from Conception Bay South, or as we would say back home in Newfoundland and Labrador, she's from CBS. Runner is off. Swing and a miss.
Wow.
Hannah Harvey took a good cut at that.
Waugh got really far down the line there, anticipating a throw to second. She almost got caught in no man's land as well.
Nail-biting time for both of these teams. Fans on the edge of their seats here. Kind of a almost half sidearm, half submarine delivery here.
3/4
from Bishop Frizzell. Not quite a Kent to Culvey, but almost like a Jimmy Key from the right side.
Oh, Jimmy Key.
Runners on second and third here. New Brunswick trying to tie it up, and this could be trouble. That's going to score one, as that just went over the head of the shortstop Childs. So New Brunswick don't go anywhere yet. They've put another one on, make it 10-9.
Another hit for Harvey. Cassidy
Waugh comes in. Harvey on. And to your point, Hannah Harvey, 4 at bats, 1,000 on base percentage.
Ashton.
That's a good day.
That is a good day. She's got a couple of RBIs, make it 3 now, RBIs. A triple, couple of runs scored.
And a stolen base.
Indeed.
Video game stats.
She's trying to steal away player of the game honors for New Brunswick with this performance. Is Hannah Harvey, the first baseman today for New Brunswick. Frizzell gets the outside of the corner against the batter Ashton. Abby Ashton was on the mound in the last inning when Newfoundland scored 4. She'd love to help her own cause here. Harvey at second, Stymust at third. 2 runs in here. New Brunswick trailing by just 1.
Nice pitch.
That pitch in, called, third strike, a huge out for Bishop Frizzell.
Number 22, Hallie Rogerson.
Bit of a stop and start there by the PA announcer. Like a pirate, Rogerson. It is Hallie Rogerson. 2 runners on here, and that pitch from Bishop Frizzell pushes Rogerson off the plate. That was an anxious moment as a throw back to the pitcher kind of got away for a minute. Harvey at second, Stymust at third. The batter is Rogerson. New Brunswick needs 1 to tie. 1 away here in this top of the 7th inning. This has been a seesaw game. The lead changing hands a couple of times in this one. This game now 2.5 hours old. I did jinx it. I said it was humming along, going along at a good pace. Thought we might be done in 2 hours. Guess again. Guess again, Scott. They're going to score 87 runs in the last 2 innings. Bishop Frizzell outside, catches a bit of the black, or in this case the brown, as the mud of the home plate has kind of worked around the edges of the dish.
Yeah. Could use a sweep.
I was going to say, what's going on here? Good housekeeping will not be happy. And that is hit solidly under the glove at third. It's going to score the tying run. Whew. So I think they got the out at first. So the batter Rogerson is retired as she grounds out. But she does get an RBI, and that ties the game at 10.
Number 27, Jesse Paquin.
So Stymist on that ground out by Rogerson. Stymist comes in to score. Hannah Harvey advances to third base, and Jessie Paquin is your batter, and she swings through that one and misses. Paquin getting some encouragement from somebody in the crowd here. I'm guessing it might be your mom. And pitch low for a ball. Now the situation is, if New Brunswick can take the lead, then they can if they can shut down Newfoundland and Labrador in the bottom of the 7th, they get the win. Umpire says that ball was to the outside. So 2 outs here for New Brunswick in this top of the 7th inning. They've scored 3 to tie, looking to take the lead. Strike from Bishop Frizzell. In there, called. Third strike. A big strikeout indeed with the go-ahead run left stranded down at third base. However, 3 runs across. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 runner left on base in that top of the 7th. We'll move to the bottom of the 7th. We are tied 10-10. Bottom of the order coming up for Newfoundland and Labrador. 7, 8, 9 hitters. We'll do that in just a minute.
Runs.
A 10-10 game. Bottom of the 7th. Newfoundland, if they can get a run, they win the game. Swing and a miss by the leadoff batter, Kylie Gear. Gear from Colliers in Newfoundland and Labrador. I've driven across Newfoundland and Labrador so many times, all these place names, they're so familiar because they're almost like markers as you're driving along. Oh, I've reached Colliers. I know I'm this far now.
Yeah.
Oh, I've reached Grand Falls, Windsor. Yeah, I'm getting closer. Ashton on the mound. She came on in relief of Hallie Rogerson a couple of innings ago. The second pitcher used by New Brunswick here today. And she's trying to extend this to an extra inning. Gear. That ball bounces in for ball 4. And Gear on base with a base on balls.
I wonder if they bunt or they steal
Number
first.
14,
Then
Hannah Legg.
So this is Hannah Legg. Hannah. And I think we've had another balk.
Yep.
And maybe it's just me, and I'm looking away for half a second, but I kid you not, I can't see Ashton move. And they're calling a balk.
She's coming set very early.
Now the umpire is
See
explaining.
what's he telling her? Once you come set, you're not really supposed. Your movements have to become deliberate. So if you're not set, like she can, like they're calling her for looking over right now because she's in a set position right now. You can't move your front shoulder when you're set. It's when your hands come together. So if her hands weren't together, she could turn and look, no problem.
So that balk puts the runner in scoring position. So that could be an important development as Gear walked, and the balk by Ashton now has Kylie Gear down at second base. Strike
Nice
3. Great pitch there as Ashton gets the important strikeout as Legg goes down looking.
Got a substitution here.
I believe this is the fourth batter that's actually hit in the 9 slot in the Newfoundland and Labrador
Now
order.
batting for Newfoundland and Labrador, number 15, Megan Bennett.
Megan Bennett for Newfoundland and Labrador becomes the fourth batter, as mentioned, to bat in this number 9 slot in the Newfoundland and Labrador order. Bennett listed as an outfielder and a catcher on the Newfoundland roster. And she's from St. John's, capital city, close to Cape Spear, which is the easternmost landmass in North America. If you visit Cape Spear, which is about 15 minutes outside downtown St. John's,
Yep.
there's a little walkway you go down. There's a sign right there. When you stand on this little piece of land, there is no land in North America that you can walk further east. The next step you take is the ocean, and after that, it's the UK.
Nice pitch.
Another nice pitch as Ashton really digging in here after giving up that walk and then the balk. She struck out Legg, and she's dealing here with Bennett.
Ooh.
And Bennett
That's a base hit.
scoops that one into left field.
And he's sending her.
And this is going to be the game-winning RBI as the pinch hitter for Newfoundland and Labrador, Megan Bennett, sends it in the left field in front of Foubert. Gear comes around the score, and that's the ball game.
Final score, Newfoundland and Labrador 11, New Brunswick 10.
Not bad when you come off the bench, pitch hit, and get the game-winning RBI
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
bottom of the
no.
last inning. So there it is. Make your final. Newfoundland and Labrador 11 and New Brunswick 10. So we're going to step aside, take a quick break. Our next game coming your way, I'd say in about half hour's
Do you want to know
time.
the answer? Huh?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're just joining us, if you're wondering what we're talking about, before we wrap up this one, earlier on we were talking about left-handers, left-handed pitching, switch hitting, and Chris Head, my broadcast partner in this game, asked me a trivia question.
I want you to name one left-handed switch hitter. And I know
basically
one that
throws left.
played for the Expos. When you being an Expos fans, I'm surprised you didn't get it.
I'm shocked I didn't get it because I pride myself on Expos and Montreal Canadiens.
So I
trivia.
gave you Lance Berkman. He's one of them. He's
Yes.
the other one I knew. The other one that I was talking about was David Segui.
Oh my gosh, David Segui. He was. You know what? He wasn't even in my
I know he wasn't
cortex.
but
I
he's a 300 hitter.
And you know what? He had a sweet swing.
He had a sweet
He
swing,
had a
both
beautiful
sides,
swing.
yeah.
He really did. He was an excellent switch hitter. Now I can see him with the 21
Right.
on his back.
Yes.
And he's more familiar to me as a 21 than a 25.
I know. That's why I said like 25.
Oh,
I don't even
David
remember wearing
Segui.
25.
I can even picture his face.
Game MVPs
Oh,
are being presented by
good
Lawrence
gravy. That was a good one. A very good trivia question.
Max Anderson.
My buddy, who lives in Riverview, we're always having these. I bet you he wouldn't be able to answer that one, and he's a big Expos fan as I
Yeah.
am.
Number 20, Hannah Harvey.
So there we go. That's a wrap here. Your final score, Newfoundland and Labrador in the bottom of the 7th inning. They score a run, and they win this back-and-forth affair, 11-10 over New Brunswick. On behalf of Chris Head, Brian
Player
Fisher,
of
and the
the
rest of
game
our
for
crew,
Newfoundland
I'm Scott
and
Squires. We'll be
Labrador.
back in just a bit.
Number 10, Brooklyn Child.